Happy Thursday. We are here with another Blink weekly newsletter, one-on-one question of the week with me, Bianca Lager. Let's dive in. The question of the week is, my boss plays favorites. He laughs a lot with other people and hangs out with them, and I feel like they get away with stuff. I'm assuming they is your other coworkers. I tried to talk to him about it and even asked other people what they thought, and no one really cared and pretty much just ignored me. Oh. Should I complain to HR? Should I look for a new job? I do my job, so this stuff just annoys me, but it sucks. Thanks. Yeah, this totally sucks. This kind of isolation and playing favorites can absolutely be a form of bullying. There is really nothing more isolating than feeling like you're being completely left out, or that your coworkers are being catty, or, that they're all get along super great and you're sort of the odd duck out or the black sheep. Really does go back to the leadership skills of this boss here. And clearly sounds like it's a he is lacking, real leadership skills. So this sucks, right? This sucks, but it is what it is. You're in this job. Now what do you do? So first things first, I think before we take any action on your boss's behavior, I want to prioritize your experience at work and your well-being. So I would suggest to try to find a sense of community at work. And if your team isn't the people for it, then is there anybody else outside your team or outside your department that you connect with on any level? In larger companies, sometimes they have groups with like different interests or different kind of activities you can volunteer in. It's a great way to meet people. If that's not your jam, if that's like a little too much work or a little too much, one-on-one time with other people, there might be an instant messenger channel, Teams channel, or Slack channel that you can get involved with and meet with folks and try to find something in common. Try to find your common interests, not just work related, but potentially, people who like anime, people who like different types of movies. Sometimes people can bond at work over shared interests like that. I think it's really important that we have a sense of community at work. These are the people you spend a lot of time with. This is the environment you're spending a lot of time with. And so whether you're a remote employee or an in-person employee, you can hopefully find channels for this sense of community. Maybe the best person on your team or the person who's been the most responsive or friendliest to you. See if you can strike up some sort of personal conversations, share, interests, see if there's a relationship you can start building, even at a small level, will really help, I think, improve your well-being and your experience at work. Next, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to control or manage this person's behavior. So I think the question of, should I complain to HR? It's not a bad idea, especially if you are in a place where this is starting to feel like bullying, and if you really feel like you're in an environment that is hostile. This is essentially what it looks like sometimes. So, if you have the emotional bandwidth and if it's not too taxing on you, I would definitely start documenting what is occurring. You're saying people are getting away with stuff. What exactly does that look like? If it's more kind of just a feeling or like an intuition or just people kind of being rude in meetings, still write that down. It's absolutely still valid, even if you can't point to something concrete, or if you think something's odd but don't necessarily have proof, still write it down. Trust me. It's not up to you entirely to find, every piece of evidence as a gotcha moment, but there is some documentation that needs to play out. And as more of these things are documented, the story starts to form really well. It sounds like you've talked to your other colleagues and most of them were unresponsive. I wouldn't necessarily take that as because what you're saying isn't true. A lot of times in environments like these, people are scared. People are scared to speak out also. People are scared to get caught in conversations, or, they're sort of a little bit afraid of the consequences of, talking to the non-favorite person, unfortunately, or even talking about the boss in a derogatory way because they're afraid it might get back to them. So, if you've gone to your colleagues and kind of been like, yo, have you noticed this? And nobody's really, encouraged you or said, hey, yeah, I have. Don't necessarily take it as this is just in your brain. Understand that people are looking out for their own best interests, and that's okay. Now, I can't really tell, but it sounds like maybe you've also talked to your boss about this. I tried talking to him. Yeah, you said that. I would, you'd have to be really delicate in how you bring up this conversation. I think that a conversation or a way to frame it with them is something along the lines of, your guys' relationship, and to work on how you can communicate better or how you can get along better. And again, this is really your leader's responsibility. But I think that at times, even these managers, these leaders, they don't know what they're doing. It sounds like there's a lot of professional immaturity here by this person too. So, that's a really difficult thing to navigate to. Personally, my communication style would be being incredibly direct with this and just saying, hey, I really want us to get along, and seeing if we can, get to know each other a little bit better, so that we can improve our relationship. I really admire X, Y, and Z about you. I've had great experience working on X, Y, and Z project. But I see that you have such a good relationship with everybody else on the team, and I would like to participate in that too. It's a pretty gentle way to kind of point out that they're playing favorites and that you have noticed you are clearly not one. So use a script that is somewhere along the lines of what you are seeking, what you would like to see happen, rather than correcting their behavior or sort of becoming accusatory, and putting them on the defensive so that they kind of get caught in this, like, I don't really know what to say, or I don't want to admit fault or something here. That can be really difficult sometimes. So, your last question was, should I look for a new job? Yeah, I think you should. I mean, there is something to be said for standing up for yourself and for correcting the wrongs of the world, and calling out bad behavior and leaving ideas behind that can hopefully improve or, knock down these hostile environments. Call me cynical, but I just don't know that it's worth the emotional energy to spend for you to be able to fix this for them. Know that this person is behaving poorly, and it's not a reflection of you. You might be somebody who is not as interested in social relationships. Maybe you even have a more difficult time with social relationships. It is not your responsibility to fix a bully's behavior. It is your responsibility to make sure that you are in a safe environment where you can thrive. And if this one is not it, then absolutely go seek another job. Truly, this doesn't even have to be the last resort. You don't have to do these first steps that I laid out here too. You can come straight to this one. I am always telling people to go find a new job because I really just don't tolerate this BS. And I don't think it's worth it to have to, do a lot of mental gymnastics when people are behaving poorly. Now, I do acknowledge that that's not always practical. You can't just be jumping around all the time, constantly interviewing, constantly doing your resume. It's a lot of work and it's really hard to find a job these days. So while I don't give that advice flippantly, I do think that the culture here is not a good one. I think that there are plenty of other bosses, there are plenty of other managers and people that just don't behave in this such a silly way. So, keep your chin up. Know that this is not in your head. This is not something that's not a big deal. It is a big deal. This is not okay. And, it is up to you how much of this burden you want to take on to solve or correct. But certainly something needs to change. And this is not an environment where you're going to thrive, where you're going to build a strong career, where you're going to advance and things like that. It's just not going to happen because you don't have the support of the people around you. So, there's nothing, that can't be solved though. And so great job reaching out, great job seeking advice, great job trying to be constructive in the middle of actually a pretty hostile situation for you. You're going to be just fine. You're going to do just fine. And if you're on the younger side and haven't had a ton of these work experiences, this is not normal. You'll move on, you'll get a different job, and you'll look back at this and be like, yeah, like I was crazy. So hang in there. Again, keep your chin up and send us an update. Let us know, please. I always wonder what goes on in these situations, or if I'm shouting into the void here. So by all means, let us know. We're rooting for you. Okay, thanks guys. This has been the Blink Weekly Newsletter 101 with Bianca Lager. See you next week. Ta-ta.